2011. That summer was very interesting. We had Randy Orton and Christian, and of course, the infamous pipe bomb. But how did SummerSlam look? Well, let's check it. Taking place in LA for the third time, uh, third straight year. This is a very interesting time because I became a big WWE fan, and I said to myself, one of these days I might go to SummerSlam. You know, I'm in San Diego, LA's right around the corner. I was 12 thinking this, and this show, it was pretty solid, but I remember the build up and it was very last minute put together. For the most part, you only had like a rematch that was consistent, but it was the best out of the rematches, I would add. And you also had Cena and Punk. Punk coming back, making it two WWE champions for the first time ever. Um, and really everything else was alright. Nothing too horrible, but you know what? Let's just talk about it. Now, I remember on Raw, there was a couple of feuds going on. Truth and Morrison, Miz and Mysterio, and Del Rio and Kingston. They didn't want to give these guys a match, so they just put them in a six-man instead of individual matches. And this was fun. This was a fun way to get people excited for the show. And then Rey Mysterio, who was the previous WWE champion, there's a side of me that wished we got Mysterio and Cena here, and then we do Punk and Cena at Night of Champions. Imagine that. 2011, 2012, and 2025, we have the Night of Champions trilogy between Punk and Cena. Definitely a missed opportunity with the power of hindsight, but I do like this six-man tag team match, even though it was just three feuds thrown in together. I was still entertained. I was happy to at least get these guys on the show. But then we get Mark Henry and Sheamus. This is around the Hall of Pain character. One of my favorite runs of Mark Henry. Yes, he didn't give you classic matches, but his purpose was just to destroy everybody that gets in his way. I would have preferred if he just beat Sheamus clean, the count out victory. I mean, that moment was cool where he throws Sheamus through the barricade. LA Knight makes an appearance before we knew who he was. Sheamus trying to crawl back to the ring, but then gets counted out. I would have just preferred a clean pinfall. If anything, throw him through the barricade and then bring him back into the ring, body slam. And then 1, 2, 3. After this, we had a CeeLo Green concert. He performs "Bright Lights, Bigger City," the theme song of the show, and then he had to perform "Forget You" because that was the most popular song in this time. Remember that song? There was a part where he does this, but it gets cut off from the show. I remember watching it live. I'm like, "What was that?" And then my mom got mad. That was funny. And then anyways, the next match was Kelly Kelly versus Beth Phoenix. This is one of the few good Kelly Kelly matches. Not a great match, but it was pretty decent. And Kelly Kelly gets the victory. Good for her, I guess. Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett. This was basically just a way of just having both men on the card. I like the fact that Wade Barrett won. This was around a time where they had to make the Money in the Bank winner look crappy and make you think maybe he will fail at cashing in. And yeah, Daniel Bryan won Money in the Bank. The rumor was Wade Barrett was supposed to win, but Pat Patterson really had it on for Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan won. Wade Barrett hated that. So then they had this mini feud. It was nice. Kind of funny that both men headlined the previous SummerSlam. Now they're down here, but it was still a good match, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this is good. But on to your double main event, even though they didn't really promote it as a double main event, but they just felt like it because these were the only matches that had time and effort put into it, and that is Christian, the World Heavyweight Champion, versus Randy Orton in a no holds barred match. Before the match started, Christian had invited Edge to be on his corner. Edge said, like, you know what, you've been a real bitch, and then he just walks away. Randy Orton comes out. We have a great brawl between the two men. Up to this point, they have built Christian into a star. At least Randy did. He made him feel like a star, even though McMahon never liked Christian. This felt unique. Even though most of the match, it did feel like it was just Christian getting his ass whooped. They do manage to find a way. I did say that this is the best out of the matches, but if, in hindsight, I think looking back, I think Over the Limit was a good back and forth with the two men, and then they were both baby faces, so they both had that style of who can overcome the other. So I did like that one a little bit more. But this one was also pretty great, and Randy Orton gets the victory. Fittingly so, given what happens at Night of Champions when Mark Henry becomes world champion. So I guess it made sense having one of their top faces uh, lose to Mark Henry, truly putting over Mark Henry. But Christian, he had a decent run. There was a side of me that wishes he had a lengthy run down the road. Maybe as a babyface, that would have been great. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the case for Christian. But overall, it doesn't take away from this being a great way to cap off the feud. And it was a really good match. A great match. Probably the match of the night, if I'm being honest. But then we finish off the show with John Cena versus CM Punk for the undisputed WWE Championship with special guest referee Triple H. So the story going on here was Rey Mysterio wins the WWE Championship. John Cena gets the belt off of him literally an hour later. CM Punk comes back. And I don't know. I just wish we had Mysterio and Cena here, and then we do Punk and Cena at Night of Champions. Maybe we would have had CM Punk come back here, because as good as this match was, it isn't as memorable as, say, the Money in a Bank one. You're not gonna top that one. Even some of the Raw matches were better than this. I think Triple H being the referee was such a distraction. He doesn't even add anything to him being a referee. There is only one moment that I could think of where it's both men in the floor. They're both gonna get counted out. Triple H says, "Hell no!" He just throws both of them in the ring. The match continues, and then CM Punk wins, but John Cena's foot was on the rope, and Triple H didn't see it, showing you that he's a dumbass referee. Really, there was no point of Triple H being the referee. It plays nothing into the story. You could have changed it up and just have a regular one-on-one, and then the only thing that it really led up to was Kevin Nash attacking CM Punk, and then Alberto Del Rio cashes in on CM Punk. I think this is just their way of saying, like, okay, yeah, CM Punk, you're back. We signed you back, and now we're gonna take the belt off of you. Just showing you a little punishment, but he does win it back at Survivor Series eventually. But yeah, this was I don't know, it just left you in a bitter, sour note. It was still an enjoyable show. The matches weren't necessarily bad. And really, the only two matches that mattered were the last two world title matches. Um, like I said, I really wish they would have done Mysterio and Cena here and then wait for Punk to come back. I feel like having CM Punk come back as early as he did kind of took you away from the whole storyline of the Summer of Punk, because the whole purpose was, oh, CM Punk really wasn't gonna come back. So the fact that he did it was just like, oh shoot, like that quickly, okay. But I mean, overall the show was fine. It wasn't horrible. It's definitely one of the more memorable ones. I'll give it a B. It's not something that you hate. It's a fun show. It's a fine show as far as wrestling goes, and yeah, I can't really fault it for that. So, anyways, next up is 2012. I don't remember that show as much as I thought I did, so I'll talk about it when I get to it. So, take care, everybody.